Mas a palestra vai além. Tema que seguramente é um dos temas mais relevantes dessa viagem que nós temos feito. Aqueles que tiveram a oportunidade de ler.
Ele atualmente, ele tem e-commerce, ele tem empresa de tecnologia e ele foi executivo do próprio Alibaba também. Ele trabalhou tanto na University como executivo de marketing diretamente ligado a database, então ele conhece muito bem essa área. E ele vai fazer a apresentação, vou deixar já com ele. Ao longo se vocês tiverem, ele vai fazer em inglês, o Renato vai fazer a tradução. Se vocês tiverem dúvida, podem interromper, ele está bem acostumado nessa dinâmica, a gente pode fazer.
We are going to have the Double 11, right? And the Double 11, at least 1/3 of the sales will be generated by live broadcasting. So, 20 years, 90 years ago, at the year of 2000, I run my first store, eBay store. It's very early, and then, well, after my college school, I went to Alibaba for like 5 years. And before that, I'm a programmer, PHP programmer. And after that, I went to Alibaba because, Alibaba is a platform. So they don't sell products by themselves. Sellers will apply for a store and have this account. It's different from Amazon. Amazon sometimes sell your products, you are a supplier. But for Alibaba family platforms, all vendors, all sellers. So you need to do everything. It's like running your own website on this huge platform. So, when the sellers performs good, Alibaba will have order. But if the sellers performs very malas, turns out people will scold Jack Ma. So finally, Alibaba will have a training department to train all the sellers to obey the rules, to do the business in a good way. So the first time they have this department is in the year of 2004. And the year I entered Alibaba in 2007, I'm the first staff member of their online training team, and I started this online training. And after like 3 years, except beside the online training, we also dig into digital marketing to let the sellers have better relationship with the buyer for e-commerce and some consulting work. But because I'm new, nobody knows me. So I had to start my own e-commerce sales business for 5 years. I sold underwear, New Zealand shrimp, very expensive, milk, toilet seat, everything. I had 68 Taobao stores. And then after 5 years, I got back to do training because Alibaba gave me a lot of training outsource orders. So I went to Southeast Asia, right? 4 sticks. And in Chinese, this 1 stick means single man because it's only stick, no sheets, no containers to contain the stick. So it's barely stick. In Chinese, it's called a 光棍, means barely stick. It is like a mocking to the single man before. And then they had this particular day as the festival for the single man. And then later, friends attended that event, and they had this huge sales turnover. I'll later show you the figures. And then they think that this is a very good way to do 1 year's icon campaign because the platform will have a lot of campaigns, but they need one as the flagship or say the icon. That's why there is a TV show tonight for Double 11, right? Well, firstly, it's PR because Alibaba want to be super famous, super popular this day, particular day, and all over the world, a lot of buyers, at least 100 million buyers, or this year could be 200 million buyers will attend. Not non-Chinese, at least 200 million overseas buyers will come to China websites to buy. And in China, it's almost 500 million today to buy stuff online on Taobao. And Secondly, it is because Alibaba Double 11 has 11 years. And this is the 11th year of the Double 11.
Oh.
Well, each year they have pressure because last year the turnover is like 127 billion or something. I forget about the figure, but it's huge. But this year it should be even bigger than last year. And next year should be even bigger than this year. So Alibaba, they have a huge pressure on this. So actually they got this TV show, firstly for the PR, secondly it is because it means it's icon of China economy. Because China is enduring something difficult. So you know, China and the US trade war and outside is very nervous, and then the economy declined a little bit. So for these days, people are looking at Alibaba. They are like the economy leader, one of the economy leaders, because they related to everyone, because everyone buys stuff online. So everyone in China notice Double 11. But if you are a B2B company, it's like you are, or say we have McDonald's today, right? Not everyone in China eats in McDonald's, but everyone in China buys stuff in Taobao. So anything Taobao does, it is like the propaganda nationwide. So everyone, including the top leaders of China, will use this to display that we have hope tomorrow. So finally, they will have a TV show. That's the reason. It is not related to the real sales. All the real sales happens in 1 and 2 stores, those stores. And also because the cast actors, they are already been standing by there. My team is already dealing with that. Just 1 second or within 10 seconds. And then within 1 week, packages within 1 week, we will collapse everything. So payment and logistics, everything need to support the peak. It's like a surge of data. Well, China has already had this system because of Alibaba. And Alibaba used this same system, the balancing system, for the China training tickets, or China Central Bank system, and China's security system. So it is due to Double 11. If there's no Double 11, nobody will see how high the peak will be. And if we can climb up to the peak, right? So we can easily climb up to anything. So websites like this. This is Tmall, and this is Taobao, AliExpress, the international Tmall. This is JD. Because Double 11 is too huge, so the competitors adopted the same strategy for this, and they had a lawsuit against each other by, I have this Double 11, and JD, their competitor, said, I own this Double 11. So until today, they still are competing against each other of, I own this Double 11 and you own this Double 11. So other platforms you see around Shanghai, a lot of offline ads.
Just
Confused, right?
the business ecosystem.
Firstly, they had this 20 years ago, and this this web platform does the B2B wholesale, which means for Chinese sellers, manufacturers, they will put up the information onto the website, and then maybe someone who wants to purchase China products, maybe it's in Brazil, right? He will see the information and contact the supplier. This is the first one, and this one is the China version of this website. And this is the first one to do online retail, but it's only in China, Taobao. Taobao does the retail, which means the seller send out every product, packages by packages, and send it to the person, to their home. And then,
But Taobao,
It's a
infrastructure,
marketplace. Yeah, this
marketplace.
we use this word. It's a marketplace.
Okay, it's a marketplace.
But Alibaba.com is not a marketplace, or is also a marketplace.
It's a B2B.
They call themselves a marketplace. They don't have the real C2C. Everyone is small business. Otherwise, C2C actually is second hand, right? I need to consume it and later I resell. That's a second hand item. But in China, because it's a world's factory, single man, single person. So the behavior of these sellers are not controllable by Alibaba. So they want better control. So they created the Tmall. Tmall is, let me see, is Taobao Mall. Before the year of 2012, it's called the Taobao Enterprise version, or say Taobao Mall. But after that year, they changed the name to Tmall. Tmall is Taobao, actually Taobao Mall. So the different year, we only have C2C. And after this year, Taobao carry out the program for enterprise, which means they require you to be a company or be an enterprise organization to open this new type of store. Which means this group, they are professional sellers. They perform better. So, and later because Tmall, Tmall is a part of Taobao, but they still have a standalone domain. So if you are going to apply for being a seller in Tmall, you can be a brand, and if you are a brand, you can have a brand's flagship store. It's like, for example, it's like McDonald's, right? Yes, right. And this one is different. They had an international platform. It's called Tmall.hk. It's based in HK, and if you are not established company in China, you can use your overseas companies like a Brazilian company to apply for a store in Tmall.hk. And this same store, it will share all the traffic from China. Tmall.com also has an extra traffic from Tmall.hk. Hong Kong.
Que é uma versão onde as empresas de qualquer lugar do mundo podem vender e você tem vários benefícios, dentre deles o maior é que você não precisa ter o registro do produto na China. Então você você escolhe alguns armazéns alfandegários, pode ser em alguns lugares específicos da China ou em Hong Kong, e você tem daí funciona a plataforma dentro do próprio Taobao, Tmall, e funciona da mesma forma. Eles vendem lá usando a mesma estrutura que tem, só que a diferença é que normalmente esses armazéns alfandegários, eles oferecem todo o serviço. E eles têm até 4 dias para entregar em qualquer lugar da China. Então, mesmo fazendo o processo de alfândega, tudo...
Mas os 4 dias é como...
Tanyao has a warehouse in Fujian, in the south of here, like 400 kilometers. They had a bonded warehouse, which means tax-free until you ship out of the warehouse.
Tax-free till the warehouse,
Yeah.
and from the warehouse you must pay the taxation.
Yeah, before that you need to pay the taxation once your product arrives China, right? You need to clear the customs.
Okay.
But later, because of this type of new retail comes out, people buy directly on a Brazil website. Sometimes some Chinese buyers go to a Brazil website and buy your products there. If you can deliver your products by EMS and UPS. It's super expensive and very slow. And then later, China, like in the past 5 years, they carry out the policy. Firstly, you can put your product by sea freight. Firstly, ship from Brazil for 1 month and put it into a China local bonded warehouse. Until then, it's taxation free. And then after that, the trucks of the express company in China. China has 5 top express companies. The China Express company, they have the picking up truck. Can go directly into the customs area to click even 1 package. And you give out this package out. And the warehouse will upload the data to tell the customs that 1 package has already exited our warehouse. And this package contains some product, the value, and information. And later, by the end of this month, they will collect the taxation. So you have 1 month taxation free until the end of month. So it's much more flexible to allow you to put your product into warehouse, but no paying the taxation. And until then, if you want, and you can still get your products back to Brazil if there's no sales, right? Because it is not still out of China by customs area. Complicated for different categories. It's like cosmetics could be as high as 50% to 70% of your supply price, right? But currently, most of the products, people need to pay, seller or buyer need to pay only like 9% because of this model. Only this model. Customs code in China, customs surveillance is 9610. You can check out on China Customs website. First, the code is 9610. This describes a model that directly ship into China, not lingering in the bonded warehouse. But for this type of, for this retail store, this store the products in this warehouse, and this warehouse is taxation-free warehouse in the customs area. This type is called 1210. So you just need to figure out the concept on China Customs website of these two codes, then it will explain everything. The difference is, you if you put into a China inland warehouse, but out of the customs area, it's 1210, and the customs taxation rate is 9%, 11%, and 13%, and 70%. Only four figures. So for all the products, the highest one is just 70%. But there are still
de incentivo do governo chinês a consumir produtos importados. Então eles querem também que as pessoas comprem mais produtos.
And another client of mine, they are different because if you want to use this type of bonded warehouse, currently the government only allow you into the bonded warehouse if you have a store on big platforms like Taobao, Tmall. The reason is surveillance. It's very hard to manage so many buyers, so many sellers if they all go to the bonded warehouse. It will be a very huge management cost, right? Because people will break the rules, and you break the rule, so the customs area will face a management disaster. But if I just in Chinese, we say, if you want to capture this gang, you capture their leader. So why not we capture the leader? The leader is Taobao, Tmall, NetEase.com. A lot of big platforms. But the platforms could be less than 20 platforms. So the customs office just manage these big platforms. And they will only allow you to use this model if you have a store on these platforms. So it's a simplified management tool. But it's like, because Chinese people, they can buy foreign medicals directly from website outside. Then
Araújo pharmacy here, biggest in Brazil here.
Sorry, it's not. So then you will build a website by yourself, right? And people can go to your website, place an order on your website. But by then you need to ship the package from your country. But it is not only we accept the package from Brazil. You can also ship your package to Hong Kong. Mostly Hong Kong, because Hong Kong is part of China. Secondly, if you ship out a package from Hong Kong to all over China, it will be very fast, because Hong Kong is beside Shenzhen. You can get into Hong Kong within 1 hour of bus. So people do two types. Firstly, put it into the bonded warehouse. Secondly, put stuff into Hong Kong, then ship from Hong Kong. On the retail price, if you only do online store here. But for import products, it's better. And currently, people want to lower the percentage of sales cost. I mean, sales cost including human power, like me, marketing guy, right? Sales guy, customer service guy, their salary, and commission by Tmall, 5%, very, very small. And also the advertising cost. You pay to Tmall to let your product shown to the buyers, right? So all added together, it's 30% to 50% if you are a China domestic brand. So you need to calculate to at least have this margin. Then otherwise you will losing money, real money. So for import products, it's better. Firstly, because China consumers, would like to buy import goods. So if your product come into China and you are already known by Chinese consumers, you will have the good clients group, which means they will buy, they will search you, and they won't cost your advertising. They just get into your store to buy it without anything paid to Alibaba for ads. Import brands, probably half of that nobody knows in Brazil, like this brand. You don't know that, right?
What is this?
I also don't know because I found they declare that they are Brazilian brand, so I took this screenshot. But maybe it's not, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
I think
It is.
But I don't know the brand.
Yeah, I don't know brand. So I mean, in China, you could be very famous among the China buyers, but back into your homeland, it's no one, right? So also in China, the same idea. In China, the big brands, they started to do cross-border to sell to all over the world. But you are like competing with smaller sellers with the same condition, but because nobody knows you out of China. Also the same idea. Nobody knows you out of Brazil. Or say if you come to China earlier, you will be a big brand in China, a big Brazil brand in China.
Muitas pessoas no Brasil acabam recomendando, não porque eles compram não porque era conhecida, mas teve o processo reverso, que os turistas construíram a marca e aí acabou ficando famoso e depois criou essa
A marca do mel ou do própolis?
do própolis.
Própolis.
Do própolis.
Dólares?
Não, mas é para você estruturar a loja mais uma
equipezinha.
equipe para começar.
Mas esse negócio que agora você consegue estar anunciando esse Vital, você não tem uma loja.
Não, esse por exemplo foi o custo da Vital para colocar a loja, para colocar e começar o negócio deles.
É o setup. Fora você tem que mandar.
É o setup de
Ele
sempre.
abre para, por exemplo, empresas da América do Sul por o produto lá. Daí ele cobra um FII mensal, mas ele que daí administra e ele já tem...
É um marketplace dentro do marketplace.
Ele cria a loja dele dentro do...
Tem esse modelo e tem o próprio Mal também cria e aí você pode vender esses produtos lá dentro. Então tem alguns modelos diferentes. Eu vou pedir para ele, na verdade, acho que continuar um pouco no Singles Day.
It's here. When the buyer searches one keyword here, gets a result page listing all these matching results here, right? So one of these could be your product. So if your product is displayed here, people will click it, and then 2 persons out of 10 persons will finally place the order, pay the money. So the reason, the key of doing e-commerce on Taobao is that you could be ranked in the top. So sellers compete with each other to be ranked here above, but they need the platform had an algorithm to determine who should be here and who should be the fourth, who should be the fifth, right? And for the one page, the first page contains 40 slots. After the 40 slots, like you are ranked the number 41st, then you need to be ranked on the second page, which means very few people will turn the page to see you, so you won't have the opportunity to be seen by other people, so nobody will buy it, right? So if you want to be ranked above, you need to match the algorithm, and there are like 76 factors involved with the algorithm. But the most important factor is that you have orders, which means during the last 30 days, you have orders. This is one of the key factors. Secondly, you have the good reviews, and you have bookmark numbers and like numbers, a lot of things. So here we have a paradox. Firstly, if you want to be ranked here, you need to have many orders generated for the last 30 days. But yeah, if I'm not here, how can I generate it, right? So later, Alibaba gives you this advertise tool here. You can pay for each click. It's like the same idea of Google advertise. People bid a price for this keyword because this is related to here. If you change your keyword, this slots changes. If you search for a toy car, here will be slots for toy car sellers. So you bid for this dress. This is a dress keyword. So you bid a price for this, and other people would bid to beat you, right? To be ranked here. So it's the same idea of Yahoo and Google. The highest bidder for this keyword will be ranked here. Currently, because it's not the hottest season, during summer, if you want to sell dress and you bid for this place, right? You need to at least bid for 99. It's the top price. So after everyone bid the price of 99, they will have another algorithm to determine who is the first and who is second. And then if one buyer clicks here, 99 CNY yuan could be your cost. But maybe actually it will have a discount depending on your performance. So if we say we have a 50% off for the advertised fee, so you need to firstly to deposit the money into Alibaba advertising account. Then for each click, they will cost the money out of that account. So once the account is drained up, you need to refill the account. Otherwise, you won't be here. By the position here, it is determined by CPM, million, which means 1,000 times exposure. This page, this picture of you, displayed by this website for 1,000 times, it costs you a price. Also, you need to bid for this place. And then they will still, this is the keyword bidding interface in the store. And then, because if a buyer get into the store, maybe he will leave, right? Maybe he will buy. The ratio is 20%. The healthy ratio of a store is if you get 10 new visitors into a store, if there's 20% out of the visitors will buy, it's healthy. And below, it's like you have only 10%, it's not so healthy. But if you only have 3 or 5%, I guarantee you, you will losing money. So buyers need to see very long page of detailed pictures. So if you have a product into China, the first work is to hire a good photographer and hire a good model, and they generate the highest quality of photos. That's the key, the first key. Because Chinese buyers would like to see a long page of details. Also, people will search, make fake negative reviews. Because you know there could be someone making fake positive reviews, right? But also a lot of people are doing fake negative reviews to hide the
Positive and negative fake reviews.
yes, yes.
So competition makes negative reviews. Consumers probably, if they like the product, there are true positive reviews, or the guys from the company.
Any small improvement of your store could generate 1 million in difference.
1 billion daily.
1 billion daily. Yes.
1 billion
Again,
every day.
1
Yeah,
billion
yes.
daily.
China domestic is like 600. Let me see, 600 million daily China domestic.
Okay.
But we still have 200 million on Alibaba. 对，2亿啊。And we still have other websites for all the buyers all over the world. Because in this planet, we will have a potential buyer. The potential buyer's number is 3 billion. And out of the 3 billion, no purchase power or no ability to buy because of language, culture, income, or war even, and sometimes it's too young or too old, right? So
Channel buyers daily.
Online buyers.
Yeah, online also.
I mean only
Conversion rate.
at least 20 or 30%.
20 to 30.
Yeah, because people want videos, see news.
Se você puder ajudar aqui.
Ok, mas agora ficou mais.
70% out of 1 billion. Tonight, at least 1 billion visitors, but at least more than half of them will placing order.
That's why you said 500 million from
Okay.
China
Yeah.
and 200 million international. That's 70%.
Yeah, our estimation of the total buyers of global e-commerce 3 billion.
Yeah.
half of the population. And then currently China has touched like 1.5 billion. We already have account in China any website. And then on top of the daily active user is 600 million currently.
Aqui o pagamento, enfim, já é um processo muito mais já
De
mais
confiança de
avançado.
entrega também, né?
Confiança de entrega.
She's 65 years old.
She's not old. 65, she's not old.
Yeah,
She's buying on Taobao frequently and using my account. So during my way to Shanghai, my watch received a reminder. Your mom just placed an order. You have 39 CN yuan paid out of your account. And by a TV, so they have TV apps.
80%
installed on
of the
television.
orders are by
The delivery is
mobile
usually
phone.
charged to the customer.
No, mostly free shipping. Because of competition. If I provide free shipping, right, you don't provide, people will choose me against you. So that's the reason. Actually, the cost I will give you a little bit concept about shipping, okay? All of China, with a normal condition, it's very low. It's like 5 to 6 CN yuan, including the package. 5 to 6 CN yuan, less than $1. If you want to sell, to deliver something less than 1 kilogram, and above that, you would like 20 extra. So, including recently, the package price is raising because of the environment protection. But you know, because the number of the packages are so huge, so the companies will first use this to transport between the provinces. And later, after you arrive some cities, they will distribute. And then the end delivery could be like this. But this guy, like this guy, this is boss of JD, and this guy deliver the package to the rural area, very far away. He will get an add-on of a cost. Normally, in the city area, to deliver one package, the company will give you 1 CN yuan, between 1 CN yuan and 2 CN yuan. So if you can deliver like 1,000 packages per day, and you have 2,000 CN yuan per day income for this delivery man. But it's impossible for a man to deliver 2,000 packages. The record I recently know is 1,200 packages, because each package will take time. They need to call you, or sometimes they put the package into a closet like this. Before that, they need to call you, and you get downstairs. He needs to wait for you, and later, because these boxes are all of China, they deploy these boxes. So the guy, this is one of the delivery guy. The delivery guy needs to just put the package into one of the boxes of the closet, and he will upload the information of the tracking code. Then the closet will remind the buyer to collect the product out of the closet. Because the delivery don't need to wait.
If I buy a shirt and
Yeah.
it doesn't fit, can I send it back?
Yes,
I have
yes.
to pay, or it's free as well?
It's not free, but you can buy insurance. This insurance you buy with like half CN yuan, 50 cents CN yuan. With this price, you buy the insurance, which means when you deliver the non-matching product back to the seller, the insurance company will pay for your shipping fee. That's the insurance. Because this happens often, right? Not matching, size issues, and the defect products has a huge problem of return. So the insurance price will raise. The insurance price is lower if this category has not so many returns, right? That's the insurance business of whether you would return or not. It's saying that if you pay 50 cents or if you pay 2 CN yuan, you can get an insurance. So as a buyer, you probably know, for the closets, you probably know that this is very risky order because I don't know the exact size of myself. So you will check the insurance, right? Because you know highly possibly you will return the product to change another size. So for buying clothes, my wife always check on the insurance button because for clothes, the insurance price is not very high. But if my wife check the box and pay for the insurance, and my wife will always buy like 5 or 6 garments within one package from the seller. And she will always return 1 or 2 of the garments. So she earns always out of the insurance because if she need to pay for the return, she need to pay like 10 CNY yuan. But if she pays 1 CNY yuan for the insurance, it's free. And Alibaba, they carry out this return shipping fee insurance. They have algorithms to solve your concerns, right? Traffic reseller. You know, Alibaba does not sell products, but Alibaba sells traffic.
Place traffic.
Yes, place ads and buy all the traffic with the wholesale price and sell to you with a huge high retail price with a business model of bidding with each other, which means they call it an ecosystem. But the problem of sellers competing with each other for the bidding price, right? The final reason is nobody earns money except Alibaba,
That's it.
right?
That's it.
That's it.
That's the same problem in Black Friday
Yeah,
in
yeah.
such a way that if people are conscious, in fact, you lose money.
Well, in China, the business runs like this. Because Jack Ma pays you money very fast. The fastest money you collect from Jack Ma's account is 1 day. So buyer placed the order today and they pay the money, right? But in China, the buyer actually pay to Alipay. The money stay at Alipay as a safe deposit until the buyer receives the product. And the buyer confirms and the money will transfer from Alipay to your Alipay. It's not your bank account. And once the money is actually in your Alipay account as a seller, right? You have a seller account in Alipay. And the buyer confirms and the money will get into your account. But you notice that the money is still in Alipay's bank account, not in your bank account, until you withdraw cash from Alipay's account. So the Alipay account balance will finally become the balance in your bank account. That's the biggest bank, the biggest virtual bank. Because I got several cards from several banks, and once I connected the cards to my Alipay account, I throw away my cards to the drawers, and then I use every bank in Alipay. And also, before 5 years ago, Alipay has a balance, and then the balance is unlimited, and you draw the money into the Alipay account. Then the money actually transfer from your bank account to the Alipay bank account. You will have a balance in your Alipay bank account. And later, Alipay carry out investor finance program. It's called It's called to use your balance in Alipay to generate interest rate much higher than the bank's interest rate. So the banks the banks was alerted. Firstly, nobody knows what is Alipay doing. People will see Alipay as just a payment tool like PayPal. Nobody noticed, even the banks, the governments. And later, when Alipay gets so huge, and then they carry out the first finance program, everybody suddenly realized it's a huge bank, or it's even bigger than any banks in China or in the world. It's the dominant power in the future finance world. And then China's central government started to get involved and stop this. Otherwise, if Alipay still have 10 years, it will own the whole world because it's a huge bank. Once you own the money in China, most of the money, because the interest rate will driven people like my mom will carry out all the money to put into Alipay because the interest rate is much higher than the bank interest rate.
De certa forma, isso tem ajudado muito a inovação porque as empresas estão experimentando, fazendo e crescendo, ao invés de ter uma regulamentação anterior e acaba sendo limitada por uma questão da dificuldade de crescer dentro disso. Então deixa ele crescer cresce as empresas e depois fala, ok, a gente vai estabelecer os limites.
Mas ele consegue monitorar, né? Porque
Consegue monitorar, então assim, não é
não é
totalmente
Far
livre,
West.
mas ele não te limita no crescimento.
É isso,
é a
o cara vai,
regulamentação.
desbrava.
É o controle do Estado ali, né?
Depois ele vê o que o Estado vai fazer.
Curiosidade, quando a gente olhou, a gente estava lá, eu olhei o valuation, estava em 468 bilhões, hoje está em 487.
Mas tem outro
Mas
fator.
elas são as compras do grupo.
And my former boss in Alibaba, they would like me to talk about this because it's actually good, because it's a new phenomenon, but it's very sensitive. It's financially sensitive and politically sensitive, like the Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is very politically sensitive because it destroys the finance system of a country, replace the right to publish the cash note, right? So it's the same idea.
Just among us.
It just creates
Disrupt.
To replace
more
the-
liberal.
Yeah, but for authority of a country, it's like an impact because
is.
the right was taken from them to print the banknotes, right? So the same idea of Alipay, privileges from authorities. So I'm going to go into a very important part because we talked about this. So huge consumptions, and because big brands get into Tmall, and small brands, their space for living getting smaller and smaller. Especially a lot of luxury brands, they lower the price within the sensitive line of 1,000. If you like sell a coat with the price under 1,000, you are not a luxury brand. But before the brands lower the price, a lot of China non-luxury brands, normal brands, they sell garments with a very high price. But after a while, the reason for people to buy in this particular moment of Double 11 is because we have a huge price raising of the real estate, which means the cost for producing raised a lot. So a lot of factories move into Southeast Asia and Africa, and then people lose jobs. The same idea all over the world, right? The middle class, they lose job. They fear they lose job. But the poor people, they don't get enough support because they don't know they can save a lot of money on Double 11, don't know the skills. And this happens in China too because of the real estate price raises very high and the consumption power is declining recently because of the debts people borrow from bank to buy a house. The money is like frozen there because you cannot sell a house to get the cash back easily recently. So everyone wants to save money, and the manufacturers, because countries all over the world, they don't buy directly in China anymore. They place their order in Southeast Asia, in Vietnam recently, and in Malaysia, right? Because of the cost. So China lose a lot of foreign orders during the last 10 years. So the manufacturers in China, they don't get enough orders for them to keep producing things. So, but in China, you cannot stop producing because you borrow the money from the banks. So you don't want the bank to know that you are going to be closed, right? So otherwise, the bank will come to your house, please return the money as soon as possible, and I won't lend you money anymore. That's a disaster. So most of the manufacturers in China, they keep producing. And you know, to make a product to be a brand, just need this little piece of cloth, right? I can tear this off and sew another piece of cloth of your brand. Then this tie becomes your brand's product. So product is nameless until you give it a name. And by sewing this little lousy piece of cloth onto that. If I sew a piece of cloth onto that, it's Emperor Armani, Calvin Klein, or even Louis Vuitton, it becomes different, becomes expensive ties. But because it's just a local brand, younger, right, top brand in China, so the price is not so high. So the same products, the same thing, but different name. So that happens in China a lot. So the manufacturers, they produce safe products like this because Louis Vuitton would have this design, and Calvin Klein would have this design. So if I produce a huge amount of this design, I will have a potential order in the future. So people keep producing this, they cannot stop. And later we have a huge inventory issue. So during the last 5 years, our president, our prime minister, they are asking people to clear your inventory. For the government to clear the inventory is clear the land, the real estate. But for most of the manufacturers, they need to clear the stock like this. We call this basic designs, which means every brand will have this. So when you are going to clear the stock, the price could be very low, you know, for this time. If you are going to clear the whole inventory, the average price for buying this one of this type could be as low as 1 and 2 CNY yuan. So you spend $1, you can get like 2 or 3 or even 4 of this good quality type. Because otherwise you need to keep the warehouse, the inventory. You have a keeping cost, right? And also the cash won't get back. So during the last 5 years, clearance of inventory made the price super low. So you can buy a tie online with less than $1 free shipping to all of China. So even if you search for products tonight, if you download and install the Taobao app, right? If you stay one more day and if you place an order online, super low price, beyond your imagination. So that's the reason people get real benefit during the last 5 years by buying the inventory online, super low price. With almost no money, you can buy a dishwasher or tie, a pair of shoes. So why not, right? And the manufacturer, by clearing their inventory, the manufacturers have some cashes back because the money paid from Jack Ma is really fast, right? I said that if the buyer confirms, the money gets into your account. So the fastest speed for a buyer to confirm your order is 1 day, because if you ship out before 5 today, the buyer will receive the package tomorrow, and the buyer open the package and see the product is good. So he will immediately confirm your order. If he does not, you will encourage him to confirm the order by sending gifts, right? So finally, you get the money immediately from Jack Ma. But this money will stay on your account for 2 months because you pay the manufacturer or the supplier 2 months later. So during these 2 months, you can take the money and go away, right?
Yeah.
That's every Double 11 stories like this happens. Sometimes very few portion, but you know the idea because the money is already in your account. But the supplier are not paid until 1 month, 2 months, or even 3 months because there's the period, right?
Yeah. So that in Brazil, you would be a supplier just if you receive in advance.
Yes.
Not
yes.
later. That's what we would do there. But here, I suppose the suppliers, the manufacturers, they don't do this demand.
Actually, they want to do this, but
What?
it's competition.
Okay.
If someone gives you 3 months, you will find this guy, right?
It's always
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
No more than three months because the risk is still there.
Okay.
And Joseph, even today or today, from midnight on,
Yeah.
if I order online, Tmall or Taobao, and I want to pick up in a store, is it possible to do like that, or all is
Yes.
being shipped to home?
Well, the seller won't like you to go their store because
Don't want to.
they don't have a store. It's not a store. Maybe it's in just a residence.
A garage.
You go in, yeah, garage, because you don't need a store to run an online store. So you can be anywhere. Well, in the train
In the case of
to
Taobao,
Shanghai
yes.
today, right? I'm managing one of my stores back panel. So I'm dealing with several orders in the train. So my store could be in the train. So there's no necessity to have a COC.
I'm asking.
It's strong. And especially the competition for traffic is very strong, right? You need to bidding, and Alibaba is very mean to build this bidding system. So the result is no one earns revenue. It's a balance, right? If you have some method or some skill to keep your margin, I will find out because I'm your competitor. I I will find you have a skill to keep your margin. So I will use the same skill to compete with you until one day we don't have margin. So that's a very cruel ecosystem. But the good part is that you get your money very early, very fast, pays very fast. Also, the quantity of the turnover, the amount is so huge. Sometimes if you do it right today, for big sellers like Xiaomi, right? Xiaomi will generate the first million within 1 second, and the first billion within 5 minutes. So that's Xiaomi has this huge turnover, right? So that's cash. So cash is everything. So now you have cash, you have a lot of ways to earn money. So you know Xiaomi lend out money as a loan to other people. So Xiaomi can earn zero profit in their e-commerce business, but they own the cash and they can lend you money with 10% interest. So Xiaomi earns money, that's the reason why Xiaomi sell products so cheap, right? Because they don't earn the revenue, they earn the interest from lending out the cash generated from the e-commerce. So as long as my e-commerce business generates cash for me, I have thousands of ways to generate revenue out of e-commerce. So e-commerce means cash. Nobody cares about the revenue anymore in China today. But for you, import goods still have revenue. Yeah. It's a totally different business. But in China, Chinese sellers are facing a problem of no revenue, but only cash. Yeah, so you need to find out, most of my friends, they get cash, right? The decision they make to use their cash is to buy house, buy real estate. So they sell products to get the cash, and then they invest in real estate because the return rate is very high. Also, some people will, the reason for some people to do cross-border e-commerce is because cross-border e-commerce, half of the income is in US dollar. Yeah. So people want to keep a stash of US dollar in outside of China. So they will go to US to go to Japan to buy a house with the US dollar, right? But US dollar cannot be spent in China. So people, it's very hard for today for people to get money out of China or get money inside China. So cross-border e-commerce is also a way to leverage your cash out of China or inside China. So e-commerce is a little bit complicated, but for import goods, there's still high possibility to earn money because most of the import goods, if China buyers knows you, right, they will search your brand, which means not search like dress. And if they search dress, all brands' dress will appear. But if they only search for your brand, the result could be only by you, right? So this is the reason that I say import goods, especially good brands, have established brand image in China buyers. They can have the opportunity to have the traffic very precisely searching their brands. So no need to pay for Alibaba for ads. But if your brand does not have a brand image in China's buyers, you need to do influencer. She's a top influencer. So when you are watching this, right, on your Taobao app, here we have a shopping bag button. If you click that, list of products will appear on your phone screen. Then you buy your product inside this, you click it, and then it will jump to your product page.
What's the name of this platform? This is a WeChat video call?
No, it's Taobao.
Taobao. WeChat is the competition.
She's the top influencer.
Yeah. Mas mesmo dentro do AliExpress tem isso já.
Yeah.
Eu tava brincando.
Notice. Firstly, she's Brazilian. She's a model.
Not
Brazilian.
Too big a bikini to be a Brazilian.
Too big. Too big.
Too big.
Too big. Well, she said she bought this breast. It's fake. She talked about this in the live show. I'm just standing there, cannot say anything. Could you stop saying this because you are hired by this brand to show the products, right? But she's talking about, oh, my breast is very small, so I bought a pair of. And I was like frozen there because I'm the director of this live show. She's quite interested. This girl is doing a live show for one of my clients for selling swimsuits. So you know, it's very simple. This is a light, and then to balance the lighting, right? Then here has a phone, and the phone, the app for doing live broadcast is actually the Taobao app. In this case, it's AliExpress app. We initiate live broadcasting in the back panel of this store. Then it will start with a camera view. Then you just standing in front of the phone. The host will actually see how it performs within the front camera. Then she will start to try to interact with the audience, and then she will try to sell. And the audience could ask questions, and the questions will appear. Otherwise, the assistant will give the questions to the girl, so the girl can answer the questions in real time, right? And by doing this, you notice, by doing this, there's no search involved, which means you don't pay for the search. And the search cost, the ads in the search engine is billing and very costly, right? But for hiring this model, for doing e-commerce could be zero cost. But she got paid by 1,000 CNY per hour. It's for the modeling, because this store does not have sales volume. But once this has a sales volume like this, right? Like this guy.
Yeah. Someone showed us in Alibaba.
Oh, yeah. He is a top male influencer. And the first girl is the top female influencer. They are
The blonde
competing
one?
with each other.
No, the other girl.
The first one.
Chinese, yeah.
And see, here is the interaction part. And then here's, if you click here, a list will appear. And the buyers can click and buy the product. And if the buyers place order here, Li Jiaqi, the influencer, will get a commission. His commission rate is between 20% to 30%. So
20 to 30?
Yeah, very high, right? But it's better than you cost money by advertising. It's better.
It's cheaper.
Huh?
It's cheaper. He's cheaper.
Cheaper because if you sell nothing, right? He gets nothing. But
yeah.
the advertising is you pay the money first, but you don't know how much sales will be generated. But by here, if sales zero, he gets zero. It's fair, right? Also, it's very safe.
I'm planning to initiate a new career.
I think it's good. Right? You can find me. The company to do this recently is hot concept in China. MCN means multi-channel network, which means actually in my case, right? My case, we only have one camera doing this, but in this guy's case, you will notice we got shelves, we got places to place like 4 or 5 cameras, just an iPhone, right? And then we can broadcast to YouTube, to Amazon, to Taobao with the meantime, because the actor acts once, but it can be distributed to like 28 channels. We are connecting with 28 channels, including YouTube, Twitter. They all have this live channel, right? You can apply for live privilege. Then you can use the software on computer. You can connect to different channels to distribute your stream
At the same
outside. And the same day, taken from the same day.
Puta pequenininho.
she's so sometimes I cannot control. But she's like my shareholder. She's not only one model, because when I started this MCN business 2 years ago, she's my first influencer. And also because she's so cute and beautiful and interesting, especially. Can you imagine someone talk about she buys a pair of fake breasts in a live show? So you know, Influencer.
So transparent.
Influencer should be, yeah, she's another influencer. And because, you know, she's one of the most popular. She's called Papi Jiang. Papi. And in China, the key to have a good online broadcasting is to be real. Because our broadcasting, like, it's fake. It's so fake, right? TV medias, they do this, like, the audience are idiots. Right? Sometimes we will face this problem. So after watching TV for so many years, people are tired of being fooled. So people want to see something real. So even if you fall down in the live show, it's good. Even if you said something not so appropriate, it's good. People don't need to fix themselves. That's the reason. And this belief that you are real will bring a very good key factor for retail, trust. People will trust you as a real person. So because they have already trusted you, so the selling points that you give them of this product is trustworthy. So the conversion rate during the live show is much higher than other methods, like at least 30%, which means if you have targeted audience, if you have 100, right? If you do it good, at least 30 will buy. And for the traditional way, I said it's 20%, right? 20% is good. And by here, it could be 30, 40, even 50%. So 100 people come to watch your live show. Half of them probably will buy because you can urge them. Buy it now. We're going out of stock. So if you buy now, we'll give you a discount. You can urge them. It's like a brainwashing, right? They are just watching you, and you can control their mind in that moment. But on page, it's not good because people are reading your page with a ration. They are reading your page with their rational brain and mind, so they will compare, they will think again. So the conversion rate could be lower. That's the reason. So video is like watching their brand, watching the buyer's brand, to encourage them to buy immediately. So live show is going to be a big business because I stopped all my other businesses and invested a good part of my money into this MCN, my new business, and it turns out very good because at least it's a happy job. And the job is not like operating a web page. Operating a web page, especially operating a Taobao store with so many rules, so many forbiddens, it's actually not a happy life. And if I go out with this girl, I'm like very happy, and so the buyers will notice that you are happy. So the problem could be solved easily. Okay, booming recently, so the top influencers are very hard to find. But later, you know TikTok. Do you know TikTok?
Yeah.
Well, this is like different way of doing this. But when this is online, it's live. This is real time, which means requires the buyer to be sitting beside the chair and watching this. But we still have other ways to do the business. This is not real time. It's edited version, right? So the problem, you already have some knowledge of China new retail, right? But I'm going to tell you something very good. Firstly, you will know TV sets, TV screen, and phone in China are very cheap, right? Even cheaper, you know, for a 70-inch Xiaomi TV, the new price this year's Double 11 is just 1,500. It is like
$200.
300.
$250.
Right,
Não,
very cheap.
70 polegadas?
70%, 70 inches. Huge, right?
Tem que ir na loja Xiaomi.
You know how much it is in Brazil?
1050 tecnicamente.
70.
Quality, right? I got a Xiaomi TV set for like 3 years ago. See, in my lounge, super good. And the reason for Xiaomi to do this is they had a vision. Most of the internet people in China had a vision. In the future, when anyone walks around the airport, around the street, around the public area, or even inside their private area, right? There will be a good amount of screens around the people. Even if you buy a car, there's a screen, right? So screen will rule the world, firstly. So firstly, you need to distribute your screens. So you have the dominant power of your screen network. Then, if you know, there's a movie, it's called Minority Report, right?
Minority Report, yeah.
And there's a very famous scenario inside that. The man walks through the street, and the screen displays a targeted ad to the man, right? If I go there, the advertiser will say, Joe, this is your favorite microwave, right? But the problem of doing this is not technical. Technically, you can distribute those screens all over the world with a cheaper price, right? But the problem is for content generation. If you want to create so many content, there's huge cost. You know, the ads company will create content for your advertising campaign, right? The price is very high. And actually the media is half the price, but the creation, taking photos. So you need to solve the problem, who to create the content. So TikTok solves this problem. TikTok, everyone create content with the TikTok. So I shot some interesting video around my life and I upload it into TikTok. And then you have the same interest, you have the same preference with me, right? You want to watch some guy like me jumping around, playing football. Then the algorithm of TikTok will bring you together, which means next time if you are in the elevator and there's a screen, right? And if the screen has a camera and the camera capture your face, know that you are Joseph and you like football. And the camera will tell the server to call for something that a football player would like to see, to watch. Then the server will send a small video clip, but the author is not the company. The author is another person, another user. So now you know the future. I think it's the reality after 5 years and the key business in China, because the internet is about traffic and advertising, right? Finally, internet company in the internet industry sells attention, sells advertising with the form of new media and content, right? So everyone's competing for this future world. It's a similar idea within the movie Minority Report. Everyone will see a very specific targeted content in any of the screens outside. Even I'm driving my Tesla, the screen will display targeted content from some guy created onto TikTok and displayed to me. And by this video, he actually is kicking a football, but with a pair of shoes labeled with your brand. So which means by watching this football video, actually I got an impression of your brand. So after 7 times repeated exposure, I would notice that this brand is a professional football brand. So that's the real future of the internet industry in China. But other, like Double 11 or something, for us sellers or for me, for being Alibaba expert for so long time, I noticed that this is temporary. You will see Double 11, Double 12, Black Friday. It's the same, just a campaign and getting people together, get attention immediately for the day. But for the future, I believe it's numerous screens around your life, anytime, maybe your glass, maybe anything, right? Capture your eyesight and then deliver you numerous different contents.
Customizable options.
According to your preference. And once you watch this video, right, they can have a small commission to the author. So which means TikTok will allow the author of creating the content. The author will have an income by sending out the video to so many audience to be viewed. So on TikTok, the top influencers will have a lot of likes and a lot of views, bookmarks, favorite, right? It's the same idea of Facebook. And this model, once the TikTok breaks through the channels, which means TikTok is working with Xiaomi and the game rule is going to be changed. It's another revolution. Before, we say internet is a revolution. But this revolution only happens inside the screen, but not when you leave your desktop, leave your mobile phone. It is not functional anymore, right? But they can put screen everywhere and extend this magic power into every corner of the world, and everyone's attention will be captured, but they will give the desired content according to your preference, and by then they are like control your purchasing trends. So I believe that's the second revolution. Or either some people are talking about the unmanned supermarkets, right? It's not the end. It's something I believe could be temporary. And someone are talking about other things like drop shipping or other things. But I don't think this is the end, because this happens within the history period of people are doing business along the laptop and the phones. But later, the game is going to change in 5 years, at least in here. This is what I say, and so I'm going to invest more on this multi-channel content business myself.